1, 2, 3. Hello, and welcome to X-Rated, the X-Men Animated Review Show.
There's got to be some way to stop it.
There is not. We are a runaway train. There's no stopping us. I am your host.
Your foolishness amuses me.
Well, excellent. That's all according to plan.
You're easy.
and I also have a co-host.
Your pathetic efforts gain you nothing.
Oh, come on now.
That's just life. He's describing life.
I didn't introduce myself, actually. Devin Skrullhorn.
Yeah, I did think I noticed a scroll hanging around.
Exactly.
But I don't think I was supposed to.
With my co-host, as always, Chodre.
That's right. Cousin to
And I
Chode.
should-
Who they
Yes,
call
exactly.
outright Chode. And like they say it several times in this episode, and it's clearly Chode. He's like,
Yeah,
Chode,
exactly.
get the plane to safety. Don't question my orders, Chode. Chode. It's almost like they're taunting
Full
us.
magnification.
Chode full magnification.
I never thought about that. That's even better.
I know, right? And then I got this one, too.
Chode, open fire.
Anyway.
Give it to me, Chode. Give it all to me, Chode. Don't hold back,
Exactly.
Chode.
Full magnification
Full
on
release,
Chode.
Chode. Full release.
Well, if you can tell by our banter so far, this is, in fact, X-Rated, the X-Men Animated Review Show. After Dark.
After dark. Pick up the phone. If any Canadian people get that reference. Any Canadian people in their 30s get that reference. That brings you back, eh? Late night CBC.
Pick up the phone. Oh, yeah.
It's
I
this
remember.
call
Oh, yeah.
now. Lots of lonely
Uh-huh.
girls are waiting to hear from you. And they're just,
They were always
"Pick up the
waiting."
phone." Yeah.
I feel bad for not calling now. They're
You
just
should
waiting.
have. I mean, those poor
lonely.
women are waiting for you. They're waiting for you, Davin. Waiting
Hey,
for
Sam,
you.
what's up? Yeah, I know there's no Enterprise tonight. They had to push it back. So thanks for joining us. All right. So what do we got going on here today, Andre? We have, there's
some
our little tag
mutants.
there.
There's some mutants. There's some aliens. There's a combination of mutants and aliens. There's a cosmic entity and an evil emperor. And it's basically Star Wars, but with a flaming monster spirit. And that's
Oh, don't say that. This is actually good. So we are actually here to review Season 3, Episode 7.
No. We're going to talk about Star Wars for the next hour.
The Phoenix Saga, Part 5, Child of Light.
I'm not quite sure where the child fits in.
I guess she's like the child of the crystal, I guess. Written by Michael Eden. So the brothers Edens completed this saga. And they did a very fine job, I think.
It's a fine job they did, too.
It's a fine job you did of it, too. I have a Simpsons reference later, actually.
I'm glad you got that one.
Directed by Larry Houston. Oh, I'll catch all your Simpsons references. First 10 seasons.
First 20 and probably about as far as I go.
Oh, wow. You stuck it out a lot longer than I did.
still watch it, actually. I just don't remember them as well anymore.
Oh, wow.
Because when I was a kid, I had like 2 channels. So the Simpsons were on like twice a day. And I watched them every day. So I saw a lot of the reruns, but I still liked them. So I watched it so much, I basically had a lot of it committed to memory.
Oh, man. I can quote those. Simpsons Trivia is a lot of fun.
Sons of bitches.
One time we got 13 points out of 10 at Simpsons Trivia.
Ooh.
Because I knew that the baseball card that Milhouse wanted was the Carl Yastrzemski with the big side.
The big sideburns, yeah. I remember the sideburns. I don't remember the name of the guy.
Yeah, Carl Yastrzemski.
Do you
No
remember-
one
do you
did
me-
except for
do you-
me. That's why we won that round.
Do you remember when they had the religious trading cards? And he's like, "Oh, you got Methuselah."
Oh yeah, Methuselah. Yeah, that was classic. Sam also loves The Simpsons. Oh, Simpsons is where it's at.
Thank you, Sam. You're going to enjoy the show then.
Yeah.
Maybe
So one thing I want to get out of the way before we get into the review is... Where's my trusty theme music here? Give me a second. There we go. With a little help from ex-friends, my buddy Murphy, who we'll have on the show eventually. I brought him in over on the Live Long and podcasts there, over with the Super Mater brothers. He didn't like the looks of my camera, so he bought me a webcam and sent it to me in the mail. So if I look especially pretty and not
look
jaundiced,
much better, actually. Yes.
Yeah, the yellow is gone.
Yes.
I cleared up my jaundice. It's
You finally got the meds going, did you?
Exactly. You can see my comics better. I get more screen here. Thanks, Murphy. We can't do it without a little help from ex-friends.
Oh, that's very much appreciated, Murphy. I am, however, slightly upset that you did not send me any gifts in the mail. I do have a nice webcam, but I would still like a gift.
Yeah, you've bragged about your setup many times on this show with your fancy gaming computer.
Well, yeah, the webcam is... I don't want to say it's like the best one in the world, but it seemed pretty nice when I got it.
Yours always looked better than mine, so I think now we're a little more even here.
Well, then that just means I have to upgrade and get a bigger one because I have to always outpace you. That's my goal in this life.
Well, you're doing good.
Previously on X-Men.
By opening a breach in the crystal, Deken has unleashed the power of the negative galaxy inside.
You mean it might get out?
I mean we, and everything we know may soon be pulled in.
Wow, one of the rare instances that's actually relevant to the episode.
Hey, I thought you'd like that.
I do. I like consistency. I like continuity. I like when things make sense. This certainly does.
Information that actually tells you something.
I do. I like it when it's relevant. Relevancy is very important to
me. So kick us off here, Andre.
No, I'm kidding. All right. So as we know,
and don't forget to pick up the phone.
Give us a call. Sorry, I was just queuing up something for my X points. I'm getting way ahead of the game. Something just snapped in my head about something else. All right. So as we just heard, this is the final part of the Phoenix Saga. This is part 5, the Child of Light. There is no actual child in this. I mean, I'm guessing the light. You getting plastered this weekend?
No, I got to do too much driving. Oh, wait, this weekend. Oh, at the wedding. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to get plastered at the wedding probably. Yeah.
Are you going to wear a tuxedo? I'd like to see you in a tuxedo.
No, but I have a nice flower print shirt I bought today. An expensive shirt for me. I don't usually spend that much on shirts.
I have many nice flower printed shirts. I will send you a shirt.
Huh. Thanks, man.
I still have a book for you, actually, that's still in my house. We got to meet up.
I have some comics for you, unless you have them already.
Maybe, but, whatever. All right, so now...
Take them, get them signed.
The universe is held in danger now that Deken Naramani has harnessed the power of the Emkron crystal. Phoenix explains that Deken is making his own universe inside the crystal itself. So he starts becoming crystal-like, and they start trying to attack him. But as you can... He looks like
because the crystal's enveloping everything, and it's enveloping.
Yes, but at the start, when they try to attack him, once he has the crystal, he kind of forms a crystal body, and they try to attack him before he sort of goes himself into the crystal. He reminds me of remember that little Marvel comic, Chris Starr?
Yeah, Chris Starr, the Crystal Warrior.
That's he looks like that. He said not.
They brought him back in the Weird World comics there.
Oh, really? The newer ones they did when the Battle World was? Yeah,
cool. Yeah, with the Mike Del Mondo art. Oh, so good. Have him on your show.
I tried. I reached out. They said they may get back to me, but I have yet to hear from them. So he goes. They're impossible to stop, and no matter what they do, doesn't work. They all try, but he just blasts them aside like they're nothing. Then he disappears into the crystal itself, which is still kind of just hovering there. That's actually a really cool image.
There we go.
So Jean Grey gets to that kind of explains that he's in there creating another universe within the crystal and sucking elements of this universe into it. So she says the only thing that can stop him is her, basically. So she turns into her Phoenix form, flies the group out of there because the ship is starting to collapse into the crystal itself. Drop the X-Men and Corsair off on Lilandra's ship.
We are being given a short time to consider our fate while someone attempts to change it.
I thought that was a pretty good one.
Who said that? Corsair. Yeah, his voice sounds a little more, a little less gruff there. That's I like Corsair.
Well, he sharpens it up when he's talking to Chode.
Chode, full magnification.
Can we just get like a series of just the word Chode? Like Chode, 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 Chode.
I only got
Chode,
2.
Chode.
I was actually gonna do that. I was gonna clip it and just hit it, but no, I didn't.
Between the last couple episodes, you might have got a few of them, but Chode, full magnification.
Chode, open fire.
Give it
That
all
never
to
gets
me,
old.
Chode. Don't hold back, Chode.
Do lizard people even have chodes?
Why
I
can't
don't
we
know.
just have a
We're getting
comic
off topic
Why
here.
can't we just have a comic called Chode? That's just the Adventures of Chode.
He should have his single run. He's a good character, and they do him more justice in this episode, which I like.
Unfortunately,
I'll
well,
talk about
somewhat
that more later.
He does seem to
little
take a
bit.
second in command role a little quicker.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
So, drops him off on the ship. Phoenix goes back to the Ken ship and ends up getting pulled into the crystal herself. The energy from the crystal. Sorry, it's late for me. The energy from the crystal pulls the ship.
After dark.
After dark. You say it like that.
Call us. We're lonely.
Yeah. It's us. It's just like a
Yes, I know. Yeah,
like this. It's just us going. We're lonely.
you just call into the
Call
show.
us. Yeah, I wonder how many bearded, gruff-looking, middle-aged men. Well, not quite middle-aged men, but young men.
We're
would,
middle aged. We're getting there
are we?
anyway.
I'm 30,
Well,
I'll be 37 in 2 days, so
Yeah, right.
or a day and a half.
You know,
So
that's true. Like 38 is the new. We'll say 28.
But I kind of feel like everybody. This is a side note, but I feel like everybody sort of eventually hits their stride for like when they're the most attractive to the opposite sex. I feel like I'm hitting my stride now. I feel like I don't know why, but it's just like I'm a decent, dependable guy. That's not like I've been married for a long time, so whatever. I'm not in the market, but it's like I'm a decent, dependable guy who I don't think looks like a dumpster fire. I work out and stuff. I have a beard, and I think some people kind of like that. So I don't know. I think I'm hitting my stride. I think this is it. I got some cool tattoos. I got glasses. I got a podcast. This is obviously the ladies are super impressed by that. So
I'm hitting like my second wave because now I have a baby, and babies are a good like affectation.
no, it means you're dependable. Yeah,
exactly.
and I think that's enticing to the opposite sex.
Mhm.
So
Anybody else got any bright ideas?
Wolverine capping in there. So then she gets pulled into the crystal. You see the ship they do full magnification as Chode fully magnifies the image, so they see the ship collapse into the crystal from far away, and they don't want to get any closer because they fear as the rest of the universe is starting to get sucked in. This is all right
in his doom speech.
This is all right beside the sun, and as we see, the energy from the crystal starts causing the sun to start being sucked into the crystal as well.
All right, I gotta interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's slowly drawing everything into it, even the sun's light. Soon it will absorb the sun itself.
He just keeps going though. He's like such a doomsayer.
The
Oh, the
entire
sun is-
solar system, including the Earth. The rest of the galaxy may well follow.
Well, you
By
just-
that time, we shall have long since ceased to care.
I like the care.
Yeah, like he just
Care
keeps
is a nice
going.
way to say we're dead.
The whole solar system, including the Earth. It's like, that's in the solar system.
Well, it's right in the center of our,
It's super
like not the
dramatic.
center, but it's in there. It's pretty hard to destroy the solar system and omit Earth. He does get into. He has a good voice he's almost like the guy that portends doom in the horror movie, like when the teenagers go through town and there's some weird old guy that's sitting on a porch,
guy
it's
at
like,
the gas station.
don't go
or
up into
whatever.
those woods,
Yeah.
Doom, like from the first Friday the 13th, doom. So the professor on Earth starts noticing that the sun, because there starts being we're getting to that actually. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So the energy from the crystal is starting to send out these waves as it's sucking in all these elements, including the sun, and then eventually the ships of everyone else that they thought was safe gets pulled into the crystal as well. So then we come to so they're trapped in the crystal, and they encounter Decan, who is now in the crystal and seems even more powerful in his crystalline form, but he also can create monsters made of rock that the X-Men and the Praetorian. Well, actually, now when all this is happening, the Praetorian, they call the Praetorian Guard, or am I just calling that for something?
No,
else?
they're the Imperial Guard.
Imperial Guard. Now that Decan has become one with the crystal, is no longer essentially. I don't know what makes you an emperor, not an emperor. Is no longer the emperor of the Share Empire. Gladiator subverts back to Lilandra.
Yeah, that's never clear.
Calling her empress.
Exactly
and
how
he even says, like, I don't like I'm unhappy with the situation that has caused this to occur, but I am pleased to serve you, my empress, or whatever.
Yeah.
So
hang on, Chef. If this be our last ride, we take it together.
I was waiting for that, which is a nice little moment too. I love this will they won't they with these two. Just make it happen, please. I just want to see him bone. Just show it. Just get her a collar, whatever.
They have a little punctuation.
If this is death, it's not so bad, huh?
Kind of like leaning on her butt too, like the way that they fell in. He's like, "This is not so bad, chap.
Yeah.
I might be dead, but they were both afterlife, chap."
But like they were about to kiss, so she was basically about to like.
Yeah, they thought they're gonna die.
Drain his energy. So I was like, yeah, whatever.
Well, they're dying anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
It's worth it, I'd say. If you're about to go out, you might as well go kiss the rogue. So
yeah, for sure, I'd do it.
Yeah, for sure. So then they all get sucked in. Yeah, it's a nice little moment between those two. They think they're about to die, and they get sucked in the crystal.
We're not gonna make it out of here. Let's at least shut this guy up.
Wolverine
just goes on and on with his like maniacal laughter.
Yeah, he laughs a lot. And Wolverine has a couple funny lines. There's one that I missed, but it's somewhere in that when they get into the crystal. You may have it. Do you have any other ones?
Yeah, I think I do have at least another Wolverine one here. It'll come up when we get there, I'm sure.
Oh, we're not there? Okay. So because all this happens quite fast in succession, really. We cut to. You have it?
What's next?
I never thought I'd say it, Logan, but there's nothing we can do.
I thought that was a good line, just because it's Cyclops never says
giving
that.
up hope, not giving up hope. Like he knows that there's nothing else that can be done. Because basically, they're even when Phoenix announces that she is. We'll get into that in a second. So they're everybody's fighting Ken in the crystal, even his own guards, which seems to turn against him with no real reasoning. Essentially, because he's what do they think would happen? Like, he obviously seemed unhinged. He was going for this crystal that's supposed to give him ultimate power. Now he has the crystal. He has ultimate power.
To destroy the universe, basically.
And they are created in his own image, which seems to be what he's doing. But which is always such a stupid motivation for a villain. Like,
well, they're narcissistic, man. Like, they're like crazy
the
narcissists.
ultimate narcissism.
They're like sociopaths.
Want to make the universe in your image. Like, how boring would that be if everything was you? Everything is you. It. No, I wouldn't either. I don't like me that much. I don't want everything to be me.
Oh, look, if the whole universe was you, Andre, that's not so bad.
Oh, well, thank you, sir.
Oh, yeah.
So, we have learned of one way.
Oh, no, that's not the one I thought.
If my body can take it.
You talking about Chode again? Chode, if my body can take it.
Gene. It's just Catherine Disher's voice. I don't know if she sounds like this in real life, but just so sultry all the time.
Everything's just context. A lot of her lines are sultry, especially all these ones. She's like, she's getting hit with like beams and light and various stuff. It's maybe it's just a warped mind, but it does always sound vaguely sexual, and by not even vaguely, overtly sexual. So they're all fighting. They're all fighting Kit and Ken.
You can't be a part of where I'm going.
At least Cyclops is coming.
He just takes
Chode
by the hand. It's like, you can't join us, Cyclops. She takes Chode and they go away together.
But he can.
Yeah, Chode can come. Chode is man enough for the Phoenix Force.
So
I can take the full Chode with the Phoenix Force. It is after dark after all.
It is.
After dark. So they get the big battle with the Ken. The Imperial Guard,
huge battle,
and the Starjammers. Everybody's fighting them at once. It's pretty actually cool. It's neat, and I'll make
other characters I'll mention later.
We're coming to that
huge battle.
So then the X-Force. So then all that's going on, which is really neat. I'm gonna make some mentions of this later in my X points, but it is quite a cool scene with a lot of action going on, a lot of displays of different types of power all happening at once, which is really neat. Because the Ken makes like a little army of rocky monsters.
The matrix of the crystal's energy field.
I know, I jumped ahead a little there.
It's all right.
That's her explanation on how she can defeat it.
Once again, it's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo blargon jargon that makes no sense whatsoever, but works in the context of the show. So Yeah, so then we cut to Earth, and we see that Earth is suffering the effects of this universe-shattering power, in which the weather is all messed up. We see Storm doing her best to try to help it. We see Snowbird in Canada helping
Shaman
people,
there.
and Shaman there as well. We also see
We might
Spider-Man's
see
only his
certain,
hand, which I believe is right around the time the show probably would have been debuting on Fox, the Spider-Man cartoon. So that's
there's
probably a little nod to that.
They talk about that in the book, I believe. And
Oh, do they?
they
around
wanted
the time
to
the
use
show's
Spider-Man. They wanted to use the full image of Spider-Man, but they weren't allowed. They could only
because
get
it was
away
coming
with
on the other show.
I don't think they ever got an explanation. I think the show was out by that point. Like it had been out for
they
a
did
bit.
do a crossover episode later in Spider-Man, which is funny.
Yeah, but they couldn't get the rights to it.
We also see War Machine, which is funny because we never really seem to see Iron Man. We always see War Machine in these scenes when we see random heroes around.
Yeah, well, he's out there working the streets. Iron Man.
Well, he is kind
hoity-toity.
Well, in the 90s, if I recall correctly, he kind of was a little more front and center because they had that Force Works comic, which was like another team, which had a dumb name but was made up of like all the hip cool characters at the time.
And he was on Avengers West Coast, which were a big run at the time.
Which was a great comic as well. But I feel like I'm missing some more cameos. Well, we saw Storm's adopted son.
Oh, yeah, Missionary.
Missionary. We didn't see Puyete, though. Whenever he was during all this.
Oh, we also saw Sunfire.
Yes, without his mask on.
His scene was cool, actually. He was like, a volcano was spewing like hot lava rocks, and he's like shooting them out of the sky. And stuff.
Hot magma.
Hot magma.
So, yeah, he's fighting them off. A lot of cool scenes with all that going on. We see Storm stopping a tidal wave that was going to envelop New York. And then we kind of see, Professor X talking about the only thing that can really save us now is we only have one hope, and it's the X-Men, which means he still has hope that they're in space figuring all this out. So then the Phoenix announces that the cannon's been destroyed, essentially because the power of the crystal is consuming him. He's kind of at the heart of it, but he will be destroyed. And
they keep telling him that too. They're like, "It's gonna kill you too." Yeah. He's like, "Nah." It's like, "All right, man, you're too far gone."
Your own. Goodbye.
Yeah.
So then she used the Phoenix Force. Says that the Phoenix Force chose Jen because of her empathic abilities, and her powers allowed it to converse with the crystal better. And the crystal effects are kind of undone. She knows she has to sacrifice herself essentially to take it in the heart of the sun, where no one can ever utilize it again.
Yeah.
She sort of traps Ken.
Good stuff here. I have some.
It kind of seems like if she could have just done this from the get-go, why did we have this big extended fight?
I like this.
I like it, but
your compassion, your gentleness, your innocence, your courage, your love.
She's like gaining strength from her friends and stuff. I thought it was beautiful, man. I got a little teary out there.
Like there's almost like a weird tree of life kind of thing with the X-Men making up the tree of life in an image too, which is kind of like pretty artsy and like neat and quite artsy. Definitely over the head of kids, but anybody
was well written this episode.
It was. I mean, that scene is definitely over the head of kids, but anybody has a rudimentary knowledge of art and the tree of life concept and Gaia and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that image. I have that image here.
It's kind of neat
there earlier.
And we see the pictures of each X-Men that represents those traits as she says them.
Yeah,
like love, of course, at the end of Cyclops. Courage is Wolverine.
Wisdom was Professor X. Innocence was Jubilee. Compassion was Storm.
What was Beast?
There's the image. Beast was gentleness, which I thought was nice.
That is nice. Yeah,
so that was beautiful.
Tree made up of all of them. Yeah.
Andre's preferred co-host is here.
Who's that? Oh, hey! Oh my God, she's getting big.
Oh yeah, she's a little turd.
Hello,
little turd cat.
Who's looking after her when you're gone for the week?
Oh yeah, we had a house sitter. She won't be alone.
What's her name again? It starts with an M, right? Mitzi.
Mildred.
Oh, she's so chill.
Oh, she's a cool cat.
Oh,
she's one of the good ones. She's one of the good ones.
She's so adorable, dude.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's brought a little joy into that rough month, I will say.
I'm glad, man. It's good.
Yeah.
So then they Jean uses kind of gets power from her connection to all the X-Men. Pulls the traps the Ken in the crystal itself.
10 weeks old, she is, Sam. 10 weeks old. Maybe 11 weeks now.
And then flies it into the sun. So the X-Men return to Earth. And she even says, like, well, even Wolverine and Scott both accept they have to let her go, which is interesting. She even gives Wolverine a little kiss on the head before she leaves. Wolverine has a nice little moment, too, where he's
The crystal cannot be destroyed, even in the heart of the sun. But there it and I will be safe.
So she makes it clear, like, she's not going. She's speaking as Jean there, at least to some degree. She's making it clear that she's not going to die. She's just going to be stuck there in the sun.
That's true, yeah. So,
kind of crappy, I guess. But, well, you know what? She says this, though.
Oh, Scott. If only you could see it.
I feel like we've seen that in sci-fi before, where someone's like flying into a sun or something, and they're just like, if you could see.
Oh, very famously in 2001: A Space Odyssey, and not in the sun, but when he says the colors, it's full of wind. My God, it's full of wind.
Right.
Like, that whole thing is very, and all the lights are flowing in by his helmet. I'm overdue to rewatch that movie. It's been a while.
Oh, it's a great movie. Just go back and listen to the last couple episodes, Sam. You'll get the gist.
So so then they so then she goes in the sun, she's gone, they go back to Earth. Cyclops is devastated, of course. Wolverine is also very upset. And it's funny because Wolverine once again has the picture. So they get to Earth, they're staying on top of a building, they're catching up with Professor X. Wolverine looks on and holds up the picture, which he still has, of Jean and Cyclops from season 1, when he's like looking at the picture in his bed. He just has it out of the frame now. He carries it with him. It even looks kind of beat up, like he's had it for a while. But I thought it was funny. He's still holding on to that.
That is pretty funny.
Until there is peace between mutants and ordinary humans, I cannot leave.
Yes,
Lilandra and Professor are having their little.
Lilandra wants him to come with her. She says that he can't because he has to work towards peace with him.
Oh, which is basically what she says to him. Like, there really are kindred spirits in like a ton of ways.
She has to go look after a new empire. He has to look after mutant-human relations on Earth. But, she says that they will be in touch. They're never too far away from one another. So that's nice. They leave. Wolverine storms off with the ripped-up picture that he's still holding on to, probably covered in stains. And then we see...
like, seriously, he stole, because who would give him that? Would Jean give him that picture? That would be
I often give my friends, especially the ones that I think might be in love with me, pictures of me with my significant other.
Okay. If it's a common practice, then I take it.
Yours is coming in the mail.
Awesome.
And then,
I'll cradle it at night while I weep.
Put it in a frame and go like this. Just touch it in your bed while you're wearing a full Wolverine costume, please.
I'll put it on my claws.
Oh, beautiful. So
I'll stroke it with them. Anyway, stroke the picture.
What are you stroking?
Let me be clear. The picture.
What are you stroking it with?
The claws.
Oh, okay. So Chode has nothing to do with this.
Oh my God, no! Of course not.
All right.
Full magnification.
Full magnification, Chode.
Chode, full magnification.
It kills me every time. Chode.
They knew what they were doing, man. They wrote some.
I don't know. Maybe Chode was as big a phrase back then. I don't know.
Oh, maybe not.
So Rex on Earth. Then Cyclops is kind of doing his pensive, like looking out sadly over the city, and Professor X asks him, he knows the legend of the Phoenix, which of course, who the hell doesn't? But apparently Cyclops didn't, and Professor X surmises that the Phoenix itself may be the basis of the Earth myth from Celtic times about Greek mythology.
I have some of that here.
Do you know the legend of the Phoenix?
I'm not interested in legends right now.
Leave me alone, Professor. Like, seriously, I just lost the love of my life. But anyway, he continues.
The rest of it?
Phoenix was a mythical bird that was consumed by fire, but always rose again from the ashes.
Whoops.
Perhaps that's what the Phoenix represents.
Oh, Jean.
It never dies. Please, think about it, Cyclops.
I feel like that's at the same time.
I feel like that's a moment where you might want to use his real name. He's like, he just lost the love of his life,
Cyclops.
It's like calling someone by their stage name instead of like their real name when you're trying to have a heart to heart with them. It's like I know you've lost somebody deep and close and personal to you, but you will. And you put your hand on the shoulder. You will go on. You will survive, and you will learn to love again, Bobcat Goldthwait. And then you walk away. You're like, you know.
Look, I know you just lost the love of your life, Four Eyes.
Yeah. Goodbye, Tiny Tim.
But yeah, let me just hit this one straight
Go
up.
through the true love.
Gene.
It's a sad ending, man. It was a
It is.
good episode,
But
but how good? Let's talk about it.
That's right.
All right. So,
we saw North Star and Aurora too.
were they in there? I didn't see no.
Just have to look into his own heart and decide.
Look into our own hearts and decide. Ray, what do you think? Oh yeah, ratings from 1 to X. I can go first if you like.
This episode, I didn't think it's kind of dumb when like I was, but this is just overthinking plot storylines for '90s cartoons. But the part where they're like, she could have just stopped it all from the get go. Maybe okay. I'm gonna rationalize.
I didn't notice that when I was viewing it.
But I'm gonna rationalize it myself because I think she's explaining that the crystal is zapping Decan of his energy, like because it's slowly eating him too. So perhaps if I need to rationalize it, I can rationalize it by saying
he got weaker.
He got weaker because the crystals used it. So then she could do it.
Or she was trying to just avoid this. Like,
or maybe save
the Phoenix has shown that it has some sort of care for Jean. And maybe it and her together were trying to avoid this situation where she has to go live in the sun forever. I could buy that.
I'm going to live in the sun for a while.
It's inherently an empathic being. It's like made up of mental energy. And
although it does seem to be like a destructive monstrous being at times too, is it not? Like a force of nature that it depends on who's writing it, I guess.
We'll get to that in the Dark Phoenix Saga.
But it's getting there.
We're getting there soon. Did you have a rating?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it I like this one. I liked a lot of the action. It feels like the end of a season, although it's not, because
end of a long storyline, though.
Yeah, what episode of the series is this at this point? The 9?
7.
7? Okay.
7 of the season.
Right. So we had the other stuff that lead up to it. I'll give it a solid 9. I think it was a good episode. I really dug where they went with it. I think it's fun. They went in space. We had a super colorful cast of different characters coming in and out. A lot of them didn't really get fleshed out, but there isn't time for all that. Just seeing all the costumes and all that sort of stuff and the different power sets was neat. So yeah, I think it was a lot of fun. Good operatic space thing. I'd like to see Ken come back someday. He's a fun villain, like almost Shakespearean in his design and dialogue.
Insanity.
And insanity, yes. Very much like King Lear or one of those insane kings. Or Titus Andronicus. But very good. 9.
I'm giving this one an X.
I thought about it.
I really liked this one. What I would say is this: the whole Phoenix Saga is our guest Dave Mader says, it's a bit bananas. It kind of jumps all over the place. There's juggernauts, there's all kinds of things happening. But this episode really brought it all together. And really, it almost felt like most of the Phoenix Saga was in this episode. Yeah. And I will say they handled it so much better than the movie attempts at this storyline. Like, I leave those movie attempts kind of feeling empty, but I tell you, this one had a tear running down my cheek. This is a really, really good.
You do see when Cyclops is crying at the end when he's standing there looking after the professor leaves, the tears coming out from under his visor. But I think it's funny that Cyclops can cry. It'd be better if it was like red steam and he's like,
it just burns off every time. But it's not heat. His things aren't heat. So.
That is true. But yeah. Be better if it was red. I guess it looked like blood, so that might not be the best. But yeah, cool.
Maybe one of my X points later, but I can always hit it up. The best fight scene we've seen in this series so far was in this episode as well, which is a huge, expansive fight scene, and it's all very exciting, and it keeps your interest, and there's all these characters. Between that and the emotional beats, and like I say, I loved that like tree of life thing that they did there. And I just thought it was beautifully written. It had its own arc within this arc, this episode, and loved it. Definitely one of the tops for me in this series so far. basically no complaints. Like the plot hole, I think we talked our way out of that.
Yeah, I think so. You can talk about anything.
Yeah.
Jode?
We're skilled bullshitters.
That's right. Cunning linguists.
Uncanny X points. All right, I'll go first. How about that? Okay, try not to steal your X points. So, okay, here's my first
God
one.
help you if you do. God help you, sir.
I understand. You're gonna come to my door at 4 a.m. anyway. Like, is it gonna be with a handshake or a baseball bat, right?
Jode.
All right.
I believe Emily Dickinson said it best. Parting is all we know of heaven and all we need of hell.
That's actually a really good quote.
Beautiful quote.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That when he says that, I probably cried too. Like, this is such a good episode. Beast has a good way of like bringing in those poetic notes.
A lot of kids' cartoons either. So,
but my full point here is this is the full little poem that is from Emily Dickinson. It says, "My life closed twice before its close. It yet remains to see if immortality unveil a third event to me, so huge, so hopeless to conceive as these that twice befell. Parting is all we know of heaven and all we need of hell." That's awesome.
yeah, very
I
good.
loved it. Yeah. Emily Dickinson, Beast. Yeah.
A lot of Emily Dickinson loved this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So you get from your 90s nostalgia podcast, you want ancient poetry. Not ancient, but older poetry.
Yeah. You get it all here, man. We're a great show.
Even after dark.
After dark. Call us.
Call us now.
Call us.
You put a number on, like a 1-800 number comes on the bottom of the screen.
Except instead of calling us, it's just like all this sexy imagery, and you just hear.
Just give us a holler.
It's just Jameel calling.
Just give us a holler. Jamil's like, hey guys.
These guys, what's going on? Jameel, thanks.
Give us a call, Sam.
This is no $1.99 a minute. So
I
yeah,
assumed it was more than that.
I don't know what it was. Probably more than
that.
So yeah. So my point is, where to go? I had this here. Shoot, I think I lost it. Dang it! Just give me half a second.
I'm going to jump in with my next one.
No, I got it. It's right here in the stupid thing that I'm trying to get. I'm just going to keep talking until I get to the point. Then I don't have to keep talking anymore. And that is because this is the point, and it is the huge cast of characters in this episode.
Oh yeah.
So these are who we got besides the regular X-Men, and we see the ones that aren't in space, which are Storm and Jubilee on Earth. Then we get little Lilandra. We also still have Moira and Banshee hanging out with Professor X back on Earth. We get Corsair, Hepzibah, Chode, Kari, Raz the Long Knife. So those are just the Starjammers. Then we get the Phoenix Force itself. We get the Sheer Imperial Guard, Gladiator, Earthquake, Flashfire, Oracle, Warstar, Hobgoblin, Smasher, Starbolt, Manta, Hussar, Titan. Then we get the Ken. Then we get the cameos, which was going to be another point. But anyway, aside from that, ridiculous amount of side characters, and and so cool. Like I said, I love when they do this sort of thing.
And they're all fighting together too. Like you see like
is
team up moves between like different groups of them and stuff.
Yeah, when the crystal starts falling apart, you see Beast jump and then fall, but then someone else grab him, and then someone grabs someone else. They're very keen on showing everybody get picked up and saved by other people. But
yeah, man, they're truly all working together. It's quite
that's true, which is kind of neat. It's nice to see that sort of interconnectedness amongst the show.
All right, well, my next point will branch off yours because you did forget to mention a couple characters, and that is the Skrull, which I named my name after today.
Yeah, but where was he? I think that might have been a slip up because where was he?
No, not before. He's only in this battle. We see a Skrull, and we also see a Kree, lieutenant. Do I have that?
I remember just seeing the Skrull. Was it Super Skrull?
The Kree is in the same image. See, there's the Kree. You see that blue and white?
Yeah. No, that's Smasher. That's Smasher.
No,
That's what Smasher's costume looks like.
No, not that one. The one in the tiny one there, in the middle.
Oh,
Blue and white. It's like a zoom out, but they zoom in on him in a different shot, and it's got the Kree helmet. It's a Kree lieutenant. And
okay.
it's in the same shot as the
I see what you're saying.
Skrull. So maybe a little nod to the Kree Skrull War or something like that. Anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. Skrull and a Kree.
Do we get any Kree in this show?
We just did.
No, I meant like really get a Kree instead of just a little cameo.
I don't know. I doubt it. They don't have a lot to do with the X-Men.
A little thing to give you a nerd boner. That's all they gave you that for.
More likely to see Brood or Sidri or something in an X-Men comic. That was mine. Back to you.
No. The cameos. So I love the cameos. I love when they do this interconnectedness. We've met some of these people before, and most notably Sunfire in the Genosha episode, and of course some of the Alpha Flight members were in that episode too. I believe most notably North Star,
Some mysterious, obscure web slinging type character.
Yes, I mean we only got his hand making a web, but that was enough for me. Then all that stuff's great. I really really enjoyed the multiple cameos. I love feeling like this is a little corner of a really expansive world full of superheroes, not just mutants. It's nice.
After Doc Strange and everything last episode, they're really kind of expanding the world.
Yeah, we got Captain Britain and like all these other cool little characters making nods in. It's really cool. I want to see. I'm really happy with all that.
Yeah, me too. It's nice to know that it's like, because the X-Men can kind of branch off into its own corner of the Marvel Universe sometimes. It's nice
especially when they had their own movie series that wasn't really connected to the wider Marvel Universe. So.
Okay, number 3. The animation. Did you notice a bit of an uptake in the animation?
Yeah, the fights
even from the last episode, like they spent a little money or something.
Beautiful, and they all look really good. Really, really.
Yeah,
good.
And even the faces, like there seemed to be more detail. I thought there was quite a bit of animation improvement in this episode. No, I always love it, but I wonder if it's gonna stay this good until season 5.
Yeah, so 5 is pretty famous for quite a dip in quality of story and animation.
Well, and completely different style. The characters aren't even drawn the same.
Yeah, so
it's
unfortunate because it's so beautiful in these episodes.
Season 5 of our show here is going to be interesting.
Well, it's going to be such a downer because you had so many good episodes, and then from what I understand, because I don't remember, there's so many bad ones that
I don't even know if I've seen season 5. I thought I did, but
it was a fever dream. I was high in ayahuasca, and I imagined the whole scene.
Anything I can remember from it is the last episode, so maybe I just skipped to the end. I don't know. We'll see.
My point was the relationship between we get a little more of the relationship between Cyclops and Corsair.
There was a clip I wanted to grab about that, and I ended up kind of running out of time, and I didn't grab that clip. But they're talking to each other like as if they're father and son.
Yeah,
and
he gives them some life advice about loss or whatever, and and
that's when Beast comes in with his Dickinson quote. But it's funny, the first thing Corsair says to Cyclops there is just sorry for using you as a weapon against a Ken.
Yeah. My bad.
Yeah, my bad.
Didn't work out. What are you
going to do? I didn't know that.
Probably wouldn't have. Say hi to your brother for me. What? Click. Yeah, he's like the door closed.
But it's nice. He's just it's nice to he's kind of relating to Cyclops. He's just it's nice to meet you.
An unknown and a bond between them that is unknown, obviously. Yeah. Regardless, because they don't know their familiar connection.
I think that was the subtext of that scene. It's a smart episode.
There's a couple times in the show where it seems like he's banging the Catwoman. So I wonder if
he is
Cyclops' stepmom.
He is. They're totally together in the comics.
Yeah. Well, there's a few scenes where she is resting on him, like this on his shoulder.
Oh yeah. And stuff. Hepzibah's cool, man.
Well, she makes a lot. I think the fact that she makes very obvious cat noises. It would be a little off-putting. If it was like
I don't know that she does that in the comics. That's the one thing that bothered me about that.
Wouldn't it be great if that was it during sex was like that? Just
oh, you'd love that, Andre. Get out of here.
I don't think I would. Cats are cats almost give you like a parental feeling. It would feel weird if it was in a sexual environment. Although purring
might be all the people that are attracted to the Avatar people.
Yeah, well, hey. To each their own, just not for me.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, my next one. The bit of a rebound in their interpretation of the Starjammers, because I felt like they all just, other than Corsair, came across like idiots in the last episode.
Not Chode.
Kind of monosyllabic, but in this one they were like Chode's in his second in command seat. Hepzibah doesn't sound like a cat. Everybody just seems really, a little more like the Starjammers that I know, so that made me happy.
That's good,
especially Chode, because he, he's even explaining, of course.
You love your
well,
Chode.
Because he's the end. I don't like that they made him seem kind of stupid, because he's the smartest one of the Starjammers. Like by far. The rest of them are kind of just like scrappy pirate lunatics in a way. And
I like when the big one is the smart one too. That's always nice.
Yeah. So I like that kind of came across a little bit better. Back to you, number 4.
Professor X and Lilandra. It almost feels like back in like Shakespeare, people talk for about 5 minutes and then they're like deeply in love and are willing to kill each other or kill others for that love. Mm-hmm. Their connection seems kind of not forced, but like it seems undeserved to be as seemingly in love as they are, being that they haven't consummated. And I'm not saying they have to go bang somewhere or something, but just the idea that like they haven't really spent a lot of time together. It's literally just been purely physical or based on appearance, and whatever the Shi'ar mating thing is, where you mate for life. They believe that, or you have connections from birth, but it's like humans don't. So are we part of that too? And what if she never ever met Professor X? You just have some person born on another planet, millions of light years away, that like you may never get to
meet. Yeah, basically,
it's sad.
It is tragic and sad.
Essentially, soulmates.
The only thing I have to say about that is they did say how they've been like hearing each other's voices in their heads for a long time. But so like I guess they could feel the connection there. But what I find funny about that is like, did Professor X just assume he was insane or something? Like he's constantly hearing this lady's voice in his mind and that kind of stuff.
In the middle of the night, you're sleeping, you just hear the voice in your head. Go, all right,
Charles Xavier, help me. It's like, what?
Not even that. Like you just wake up, you hear a voice in your head, and it's like, all right, I need milk, toilet paper,
Sheer milk. I need some sheer.
Yeah, I got to get litter for the cat. I got to for Hepzibah. I got to get I get litter for Hepzibah. Oh, I gotta pick up some stuff at the store. Just like going through the list in your head. Or like, there's someone like going, oh, geez, the doctor's calling. I hope it's not the bad thing. Like, no, I'm afraid. Stuff like that. I think that'd be really good. I want to hear the mundanity of that.
All right. I do too. Back to me. Well, I guess my last point will have to be just the effectiveness of this episode without a lot of humor. A lot of my favorite episodes have a lot of those like one-liner zingers from either Gambit, Wolverine, whoever. This one didn't really have that, and I didn't miss it. I thought this episode was kind of perfect the way it was, and I think that's worth mentioning.
Yeah, most of the humor was in the Cyclops stuff, or not Cyclops, the Gambit stuff, and there wasn't even a lot of that.
It wasn't even that funny, really. It's just
Wolverine
like
had one or two pretty good lines too, which is pretty solid. But it was pretty solid. I liked the tone of it. It felt like it was universal stakes, which it was. So, yeah, I think they did a good job, and very happy with
the solar system, including Earth. Very big stakes. Very big stakes.
Yeah. For my final point, I guess it would be to cap off the story arc as a total. I guess as a whole, the Phoenix Saga is like this whole thing was incredibly epic, and incredibly fun. Like I said, we got a lot of new characters. We got some old favorites back. We got some interesting, wrenches thrown in with Banshee and all that sort of stuff, with Professor X's personal life. So I liked all of that. I think as a whole, the arc builds towards something interesting. Like anything, a comic can have more stuff in it with more stakes, personal, whatever. You know what I mean? You can flesh it out more in a comic than you can in 22 in a kid show. But I think they did a really good job of getting this epic sort of battle. My only complaint is I would like to see more space characters. It'd be cool if like Silver Surfer stopped by or someone like that. But that's not.
There's still time.
It's on the
There's
show's
still
fault.
time.
It's just what I want to
We'll
see.
see.
But yeah, I really, really dug it. I think it was a really awesome story arc, 5-part story arc, and I'm excited to see the Dark Phoenix Saga, which I guess is going to wrap it all up.
Yeah, that's about a month from now.
Mm.
That'll start.
Hey, check this out.
Hey, check this out. This is our comic reminiscences and recommendations segment. I'll go first, as I often do. First, I'll start off with some non-X-Men stuff, just because I've been rewatching some Disney Plus Marvel shows, and I don't know if I've recommended these yet. So I just rewatched Captain America and the Winter Soldier, or Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I liked it a lot more upon second viewing. I liked it the first time, but Marvel stuff always does that to me. It always hits me completely different the second time. Like the first time I saw Endgame, I kind of hated it, and then I watched it again, and the first time I watched it, it just felt like a bunch of fan service scenes stuck together with no really connective tissue. Like all of a sudden, there's A-Force walking out. Then the next scene, Captain America's holding Thor's hammer, and it was just like a bunch of stuff like that. And I just found it like kind of took me out of the movie. Second time, I just let that all go, and I liked it better. But anyway, so my whole thing is like the Disney Plus shows. I thought I had like a ranking of them, and now upon second viewing of them, it's totally changing. Like before, I think Loki was my favorite one, but now it's like I tried to rewatch Loki and I kind of got bored of it and stopped watching it. And then I watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier and totally loved it the second time. Zemo is the star of that show, though.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Daniel Bruhl's a great actor.
Oh, yeah. So, check out Captain America, the Winter Soldier. It's an excellent story, and it leads up to, which is an even better story, the death of Captain America. Parts 1, 2, and 3 by Ed Brubaker. It's art by Steve Epting. At least
I love Steve Epting's art. It's awesome.
Oh, it's
I actually really dug the Captain America costume too.
Yeah. And there's Bucky as Captain America.
It was designed by Alex Ross.
So the death of Captain America, if you haven't read it in the Winter Soldier storyline, you should. Especially the death of Captain America.
Do yourself a favor and just read everything Ed Brubaker's ever written. He's never written a bad book, in my opinion. Everything's been fantastic.
Yeah, his Daredevil run's not my favorite, but yeah.
Your Daredevil run is not my favorite.
What?
Your Daredevil run is not my favorite.
It's not.
It's not. Because you haven't made it yet. And I know it'll be great when you do.
Oh man, I got some Daredevil ideas. He was my favorite character for many, many, many years.
Well, because
and I just rewatched Hawkeye. I don't know. I may have recommended this on the show before. I can't remember. But read "My Life as a Weapon" by Matt Fraction and David Aja, if you have not, because
Aha.
Take
on me.
It's got Hawkeye. It's got Kate Bishop. I freaking love Kate Bishop. I like Kate Bishop more than Hawkeye. I don't mind saying that. But it's got all the stuff from the show. It's got Kate. It's got Hawkeye. It's got Pizza Dog. It's got Grills, who actually grills things on the roof, which he did do in the show, and he should have. Tons of good stuff in here. The art's amazing. It has that David Aja art, if you're familiar with it, where it's like kind of minimalist in a way, but it just really fit the tone of this. Oh, and it's got Madame Mask as the villain, which is really cool. This is a great story. It's got the tracksuit mafia, bro. Let's do it up, bro. Yeah. So check out My Life as a Weapon if you haven't. But the X-Men recommendation I'm going to have is issue 4 came out of the X-Men 92 series that's going right now. The stuff that's kind of mimicking the Dawn of X era X-Men stuff. This is the best one so far. The last one was my least favorite, the one that kind of did all the X of Swords stuff. But this one is the Hellfire Gala issue, and it's friggin' hilarious. It's friggin' hilarious. I laughed out loud a ton of times. And see, like, even this alternate cover is pretty funny. It's like the yearbook photos of the X-Men.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like Storm is most likely to become a superhero. Cyclops got best eyes. Gambit got Heartbreaker. Jubilee, most school spirit. Rogue got best hair. Wolverine got life of the party. Jean Grey got most likely to succeed. And Beast, teacher's pet.
Actually, he's mean.
Hilarious issue.
He's a furry creature. Have you ever read the What the comics? Remember we had the
Oh yeah,
which
absolutely.
was like a comedy take where they just would do these little things.
Yeah,
Those
like
are really fun.
it was like Fred Hembeck style stuff. If it wasn't
Kind
Fred
of
Hembeck,
sometimes
you
it would
pay a
be.
bit.
I think he had some in them, but there are others like just goofy storylines making fun of stuff. Well, me and former host of the show Dave used to laugh about there's one which was the progress, or maybe it was in a Wizard magazine, but there's one that was the progress report of like the Watcher. So it's like his progress report, and it was like all of his superiors writing in notes in the margins, and it's like, world going to be consumed by Galactus, felt compelled to interfere. He's filling out his form, and then it's like man overcharged for coffee at a Starbucks, felt compelled to interfere, and then like the ideas for him interfering is getting more and more mundane. Like it goes down the list. There's all these notes in the margins. Like, what's this guy doing? We gotta get rid of him. But anyway, so that could be a recommendation. I don't know if Marvel ever collected it, but it's a good comic.
Geez, I don't know if they did either.
So, Four Bush Man was in all those. The guy with the pot in his head with the eyes. He's kind of a zany, cartoony character that was sort of a mascot for Marvel during this period. Okay. So we're talking about fun space stuff. We're talking about hijinks in space with colorful characters. And I thought, I read this a little while ago and I really liked it. Those of you who may be familiar with Craig Thompson, who did the comic Blankets, which is very popular in Habibi, amongst others, did this book called Space Dumplings. A fun little graphic novel that is a woman, or a girl rather, who his father is essentially a truck driver in space. And he goes missing while on a dangerous job, and she decides to go out on her own and try to save her dad, and meets a colorful group of characters along the way that come to help her out. It's it's similar in style when you mentioned the cartooniness of some of that Epting stuff, but there's some beautiful artwork, some interesting social commentary, some stuff about family, and just a really fun little book, and something you could read with your kids too if you wanted to. But I don't have children, and I read it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a very, very fun book. I'm sure it's available through the regular channels. I believe I got this at Comic Hunter in Moncton. But very good. Check it out. Craig Thompson.
I'll be driving through there about 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. All right.
I can't believe we're driving to Ontario. You're a madman.
Oh, man. Flying sucks. Those things can crash, right?
Anyway. Your car can crash, right?
I like my chances a lot better.
Statistically, you're better off in an airplane.
That is the most bullshit statistic ever.
Sure not. Do you know more people are killed annually by donkeys in airplane crashes? That's a true fact.
But how many people are kicked by donkeys and live compared to people who are in airplane crashes and live?
Not that many. Donkeys can kick pretty hard.
They do.
Fuck you up, so.
That's true.
And airplane crashes mostly make water landings. It's very rare they crash into a building or hit the ground or something.
The water is like cement when you fall from the sky. Anyway, you're making me nervous about planes. I'm gonna freaking move on.
Well, I'll give Millie a good home when you die in the plane. So.
I won't be on that plane. My VCR with Andre.
So we're keeping.
So we're bringing it back. We're keeping it retro. If you couldn't watch it in 1990, we're at 94 by this point.
Oh, so it's whatever year the shows are up to. We got to keep to.
Well, whatever.
Well, this actually works for that criteria. So,
okay. What do you got for us? What's a classic in a movie for us to enjoy, Andre?
Well, it's actually comic book related too, which is fun. So in the 90s, there was.
Is it Meteor Man? No.
No, because that wasn't a comic to begin with, but it was still kind of a superhero movie. Yeah. And this isn't comic per se, but comic adjacent because it is a form of comic. So in the 90s, they had a string of what I would call pulp hero stories, in which we got some of the older superheroes like the Shadow, Phantom, the Rocketeer, the Phantom, and this beautiful
big
little. So a friend of mine is in a band, and they were playing at a local pizza place on Friday, and he invited me to come go to, which is actually a pretty fun evening. The band is called Eat Lead Tracy, which he said to the audience,
Dick Tracy.
He said most people may not recognize that, and I stood up and went, "I do," and he goes, "I knew you would, Andre, but you're probably the only one." Because in 1990,
I used to love that.
Warren Beatty directed a certain movie called Dick Tracy, in which he starred as Dick Tracy.
With Madonna,
an impressive cast of characters, including Madonna, yes. as well as Al Pacino, who plays the big boy. We also have Dustin Hoffman in a cameo role. We have James Caan in a cameo role. We have a very significant Dick Van Dyke in a cameo role. We have very significant.
Who was Dick Van Dyke in that movie?
He's the DA, the one that they framed for the murder, the Dick Tracy murders.
All right.
The blank sets him up for the murder. We also have Mandy Patinkin as the almost unrecognizable as the piano player, 88 Keys. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's a very good show movie. I watched it again recently because I have some friends who hadn't seen it.
Does it hold up?
It actually does. I mean, it's not a perfect movie, but it's
no,
fun.
It wasn't perfect even in the day.
But it's fun, and the cinematography is amazing, and the costume designs. Everybody's so colorful and bright.
Yeah,
like every gangster has their own color palette. Like they're all it's like when you become a gangster, you pick from a Pantone book what colors haven't been taken by their gangsters, and all your outfits have to be that color. And
prune face and flat top.
Oh yeah, and Flat Top is the one. So the band name Eat Lead Tracy's from a scene where there's a character who's just called the Kid because he doesn't have a name, who witnesses a bunch of gangsters playing poker in a room when Flat Top busts in a car and lights him up with a Tommy gun and then shoots Eat Lead Tracy on the wall with impeccable penmanship for just using a Tommy gun as your tool.
True.
So he writes Eat Lead Tracy on the wall. But the Flat Top's played by William Forsythe, who you may recognize from more recent movies like The Devil's Rejects or but he's in Rob Zombie's movies. He played Michael Myers' father in Rob Zombie's Halloween movies. But yeah, very good villain in this. Very unhinged and very disturbing looking with that design. But it's a very, very cool movie, very fun. Definitely worth a rewatch. I'd say check it out.
I used to have the action figures.
Me too.
It's not even really a kid's movie.
Pretty sure I still do Mom and Dad's house, yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. New segment, because I've been rotating my segments. So, and I got some new stuff. We're going to make this one a little quicker episode because it's late. And I got to get on the road in the morning. But there's a lot of new stuff to look forward to there, X-Goons. It's X-Teen-Bit Gaming with Super Nintendo Scalehorn.
Wow, that's a reach for that title.
That's your Simpsons reference.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Super Nintendo Chalmers?
Super Nintendo Chalmers?
Yeah. So, I'm more of a Super Nintendo guy. But the best X-Men game, maybe ever. 16 bits for Sega Genesis. Me and Andre may do a segment trying to beat this one day. Who knows? But
I do not think I've ever played that one.
It is a fantastic game. It has crazy things they don't even tell you about. Like you get to a point in the game where you just can't go anywhere. And you actually have to reset the game. And then when you go back into the game, you're in the next level. But it doesn't explain any of that to you. You just have to know because that's how it worked back in the day. You just had to figure this shit out. And yeah, and there's creepy things with Mojo on video screens. I think that's when as soon as you see Mojo, that's when you reset the game. Anyway, there's a lot of crazy stuff. It's a great game. You can be Wolverine, Gambit, Cyclops, or who else? A Nightcrawler. And you can call in X-Men to help you. Storm, Jean, Rogue, Iceman. It's very cool. Very great game. It's hard, but for the Sega Genesis, the sound and the graphics are really good.
No, that's cool.
And I totally recommend everyone play that game. Some people like the second one better for Sega Genesis. I prefer the first one. Second one is still good though, quite good. So yeah, let's skip the rest of our normal segments that we kind of lumber through here, and kind of call this a short one so that leaves us with homework from Professor Andre.
Well, I'm going to give you a little more than usual because there's some cool stuff out there that I've seen this past week. Your homework is to watch the first episode of She-Hulk and love it as much as I did because it's awesome. It's super
me.
It's super fun.
One of my favorite characters in all of anything.
It does feel like I'm
watching.
watching John Burns run in
It
the
does.
comic, and it's very like I'm sure Santa Claus isn't going to show up, but it also seems like it's going to be fun. And
He
cool.
might.
He
Frogman's going to be in it.
Frogman's in it, and so are the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, that's going
which
to be
is pretty cool. So definitely check that out. It's a very fun show. It's very good as well.
So maybe a little controversy with the Frogman thing, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Why's that?
Because the actor came out and said that he plays Leapfrog.
Oh, it's the son of Frogman.
Yeah. No, Leapfrog is the father. But he's playing Eugene, the son, who's actually Frogman, not Leapfrog.
Well,
so I don't know if they're just blending it together, but...
Probably, I'd imagine. But that's still cool. Leapfrog is a better name than Frogman.
Is it?
Yes. Come on. Come on. I mean, it's funny.
I'm of mixed opinion on that.
Some superhero names do lend themselves well to whatever man. But I don't know if Frogman does.
Frogman? Oh, it's hilarious.
It's no Chode.
It's like Spiderman. No, it's no Chode.
All right. So your homework, your true homework is, let's start with a quote. No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if a promontory were, as well as any manner of thy friends or of thine own were. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. That is a poem by John Donne. No man is an island. That is a modernized version of it, but that is the No Man is an Island, because our next episode is called Boom. No Mutant is an Island. Watch it.
Indeed. Watch it. Be
It's
ready
the
for
8th
next
episode
week.
of the season. We get some new characters. We see some appearances from interesting characters that haven't really been in the series before. And we get an interesting villain that I never really knew was an ever considered an X-Men villain, but I'm interested to see in the animated world. So, do you
Who's
remember who that is?
No.
You don't know? Zebedee Kilgrave.
Is Kilgrave in this episode?
Yes, he's the villain.
I knew he showed up in this series, but wow. Wow, he's not really an X-Men villain. That is very
No, but still, I'll take him. I always thought he's a very interesting villain. I know he's been popularized by it's an alias and in the comic alias, but as a character himself, he's mostly been a Daredevil villain, if I recall correctly, in the past.
Yeah, and then Jessica Jones.
Yeah, well, that was much later. But no, very excited to see. It's funny because he's another one of those characters that seems to know he's in a comic book, which sometimes happens, sometimes doesn't.
Huh,
but he does often. He controls people, which they do have to do what he said. It's an interesting power. So, and one that I don't think anybody could possess without being corrupted by it.
Yeah. Oh well. He's a creepy villain.
Yeah, for sure.
Just give us a holler.
Yeah. Just give us a holler, or you can support us the show and get some sweet merch designed by Andre at patreon.com/X-Men Review Show. You can contact us at you can give us a holler there at xmenreviewshow@gmail.com, or you can message us on Facebook. We're on YouTube, Twitch, all that stuff. There's the addresses for that. You can find our audio-only version wherever you get your podcasts.
That's right.
And sorry about the technical difficulties last week, everybody. But I edited some of those out for time. In the audio version, it's better. But I left Andre's great Sandman talk.
It is a great show.
There you have it. And also, if you enjoyed us, please like, review, and subscribe. I did forget to plug a few things, so let's do that quickly. You're still on hiatus over there, eh, Andre?
For now, yes, for now.
A little hiatus for now. I finally dropped a new episode of Locutors of Trek. So, episode 18 of Locutors of Trek on the comedy of Star Trek that we call Ferengi Schemes and Klingon Dreams is now available wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, at the end of every episode, you get to check out the ongoing in-universe adventures of myself and Dave, a.k.a. Plain Simple Tailors, as we wander through the Star Trek universe. That's always fun. There's lots going on over there, the Heroes of Trek. It's a crazy show. It's like this show, but about Star Trek. And with Dave instead of Andre, which makes a lot of differences, to be honest. It's quite a different show, but both good. Live Long and Podcast, check that out. Check out Trivial Debates. I was just on that. I friggin' represent it. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but check it out.
Ooh.
Super Mater Brothers, check that out as well. And I guess that's it, That's what you should check out. Be here
Yes.
next week, but at our regular time. Anything else to say, Andre?
Enjoy your trip, my friend. I hope you have a wonderful time.
Thank you. Oh, and you know what? Happy birthday, buddy.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah, man. I actually meant to have I'll have to bring it next week. I meant to have a little cookie with a candle in it for you, but things got
that I could never eat. Very nice.
Because we're packing for exactly. Because we're packing for the trip, and I ran out of time. But happy birthday for sure.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah, man. I hope you enjoy the day whenever you decide to celebrate.
Yes, I will for sure. And I'm safe travels to all of you out there, the travelers of the night.
Thanks, man. Oh, yes, all the travelers of the night. May Saint Christopher bless you all.
That's right.
All right. Well, catch you next time, everybody.
Next time.
Goodbye, my friends. I love you all.
1, 2, 3.